Hi, folks. You folks are watching and listening to a very special edition of Open Bar. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. The gentleman with the baseball cap on is
Tom O'Malley here in San Diego, wearing a very appropriate hat for San Diego.
Yeah, that's true. I was just in San Diego. And the gentleman next to him is
I'm Alex Sanchez from Monterrey, Mexico at this moment.
Hey, now Alex and Tom are the brand owners and I guess at this point, well, not necessarily the importer of this beautiful, beautiful, sexy beast right here. See that? That is called La Leyenda. There's a full name to this. Was it La Leyenda? Los clásicos nunca mueren. Is it? Did I get that correct? Okay, because we have had this juice before, folks. Okay, Eric Zandona and I had it it was at a much different bottle and at European Mexican bottling at 38 ABV. This is the new iteration. Look how sexy this thing looks, like a piece of onyx. I mean, it's a smoked glass and the logo is very cool.
I wear it as cologne.
I was gonna say it looks like a heavy cologne bottle. As you can see, it's 40 ABV right there. Now, technically, this is considered a mezcal, okay? But as you folks know, mezcal can be made in several different states, not just Oaxaca. This comes from Zacatecas, correct? And in Zacatecas, the style, there are two different styles of mezcal that is being made. One that that's classified as industrial, which rings a really bad ear to some people. It's not made with a diffuser, okay? What happens is it's made with blue agave, the same kind that they grow in Jalisco and the other 5 states, but they can't make tequila in Zacatecas, so they technically have to call it mezcal. And there are some mezcal producers that I have had made with blue agave, and but this one comes in completely different. I mean, Eric and I really loved the previous iteration, but I'm going to let you guys tell us why the whole refurbishing. I mean, it's rebranded, the whole new look. What's that all about? And then I'll ask you another question about NFTs. It's not what I think. So tell me, Tom, whoever wants to lead off, tell me why the new version, a new iteration.
Well, Alex had he had brought it to market in a more classic sort of bottle. And what I thought he did well with that is he kept it, I think, pretty basic. But it was enough to get it introduced to some experts to validate the quality of the juice. And so I was, I'm going to say it was probably around, almost a year ago that Alex reached out. He had just won the San Francisco Spirit Awards in the old bottle. And so
Alex, did you win that at 38 or 40?
At 40.
Wow. Okay. Now I know how we rate. We got it just recently. Good. Okay. And so after that?
Well, I mean, we had a sit down. We opened up a bottle and we started talking about what should this be then? I mean, clearly you're onto something. It really grabbed my attention, that he had accomplished that much with it. So it took us about a bottle and a half to figure out a go-to-market plan.
As things usually do.
Yeah. Get our best thinking forward. And the rest is history. But we just thought that the juice, it deserved a better package. Mm-hmm. What I think Alex, with his vision with this, was to bring back some of the art, the artisan. And we'll talk more about, the purpose behind this brand. But, we believe that the classics should never die, and that's what
the name means.
That's La Leyenda, the legend, the classics never die. There are some things that should never change. Making agave is one of them. As soon as we start adding sugars and start putting in so many other flavors that don't belong, to only hide the fact that we're cutting corners, as soon as that happens to an industry, it's dead. And so what Alex said is, let's do something. He says, I tell you how I did it. I just wanted to restore the classic way, the artisan way of making agave, and prove it out. And he did. He brought it up there. I compare it to like when the Karate Kid went to the match. He didn't have a belt on.
Right.
Miyagi had to steal the belt. Alex didn't even belong in the competition and went in there and won a double gold. So I thought it was a really exciting kind of take notice moment. We thought, all right, let's rethink this. And so it was just, our collaboration that decided to relaunch it.
How did you two guys meet? Where did you meet?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I have known Tom for 18 years now, 19 years now.
Oh, okay.
And Tom is my brother-in-law. Not only my brother-in-law, but one of my best friends. And we are very close to each other. And practically we have been very good friends since we ever met.
Yeah, it didn't start that way. When I first started dating his sister, he threatened to break my legs.
as a lot of brothers will.
but as it turns out, we fostered a great friendship, and then we share an enthusiasm for food and dining. And Alex really brought me into the whole agave spirits world, and through his firsthand knowledge of being a restaurateur, opened my eyes to what, just how different it is from all other spirits.
And Tom, your background, did you say you were a restaurateur or?
No, I'm a tech guy. So I was an enterprise tech guy for large companies at like Quest, Avaya, Oracle. Led a strategy team at Oracle for almost a decade across APAC and Europe, and then back into Palo Alto. I did a tech startup in Palo Alto 7 years ago. So I've been deep tech my whole career. And that was, that's
how did you wind up dating his sister though? I mean, was she in the US or did you spend time in Monterrey in Mexico?
I was looking to import. I was invited to a wedding down in Mexico, and it was a blind date. I met his sister at a blind date in Mexico at a wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. No wonder why he wanted to break my legs.
That's a happy ending, even though it started off a little scary.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the Mexican way.
Yeah, I know, right? The Mexican way. Yeah, you better treat my sister right, or I'm going to break your legs. I'm going to find
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked is, Monterrey is known as kind of the tech area of Mexico, and so I thought maybe you had done a little work there. That wouldn't be uncommon because I know a lot of tech guys go to the U.S. From Monterrey. So
it's a good assumption. There's a lot of major companies based out of Monterey, and their tech school, Monterey Tech, is world renowned.
So now, Alejandro, I need to ask you, why mezcal or now agave spirit? Now in the United States there is actually the TTB in the last couple of years has allowed a new category. No, it's kind of a blanket category known as agave spirits, and so it seems to be it's kind of a godsend, but it's also in depending on the Mexican distillate that we're talking about, it's considered kind of the scourge of a particular Mexican distillate that I'm not going to get into. But in this case, you literally can come in as an agave spirit. And the reason I say this is because having had the 38 version, it's a lot smoother. And when you see, Alex didn't hide anything. So he showed us the process, and it looked like a tequila factory. I mean, he's got autoclaves, and it's all distilled kind of the same way, blue agave only. But because of the region it's in, the state that it's in, it can't be called tequila, even though the process is very similar, if not the same. So why did you go that route? I mean, I know the classics never die, but is agave planting, is plantations and things like that in your family, or is that something you kind of were exposed to?
Yeah, well, back then I was visiting. My wife is from Guadalajara, and my father-in-law owns ranch in Zacatecas.
Okay.
So he threw out a party for my son. he was turning 5 years old, and
wow.
he threw the how do you say this? He threw the house out of the window.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of
He
thing.
went. He pulled out all the stops on that party, right?
Huge, like
Oh my
like a
God.
wedding, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he was like, I mean, I don't know why, but he did. So, yeah, so we traveled there, and that was my first time drinking this great beverage. I was approached by the owner of the ranch, I mean, from the factory, the distillery, and he's like, try this vino. And I was like, I'm not into red wine because I'm drinking tequila right now. And he laughed and he said, well, it's not vino. We call vino mezcal.
Yeah, vino mezcal.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'm drinking tequila right now. I'll switch later to that. He laughed again and said, you gotta try this. So I tried it, and I was blown away. I was like, what is this? It's so fantastic. So that's how I got to know the beverage, and that's how the relationship started. And well, one of the best things that I think we have right now, there's a lot of brands of tequilas and mezcals,
Right.
and most of the distilleries work for several other brands.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the maquiladoras. They make tequila for other brand owners. And
That is correct.
some are very reputable. Some of them are just factories. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so this distillery is very small, and it's family owned for 3 generations now, and they don't sell anything.
Oh wow.
And they were willing to start business with us because of my brother, because of my father-in-law. I mean, we were related, right?
Right.
So we are the only ones. They make this stuff too. So that's a great thing for us because it makes us unique.
Exactly.
Special,
You're exclusive. Yes. So it now so now the two of you have come together, and Alex has won was it double gold? It was double gold, wasn't it?
Double gold.
Yeah. And like Tom said, he had no business being there, right? So now you guys come up with this, and you have such a unique marketing idea that I'm not even going to attempt to explain it. You guys do that. You tell us why this is okay. So number one, you're looking at juice. It's exclusive to you guys.
Yeah.
Your family. Okay. Yeah. So that's important. I mean, all you guys are related to each other, even if just by marriage, your in-laws.
Yeah.
And now you have a unique way of getting this out, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
So you guys explain it to me. Okay. I'm a lay person. I look at this and I go, oh my God, this is beautiful. Look at this. And it's it's got you'll put the gold medal tags around it, or however you guys did that with right here with San Francisco. You see that little medal right there. So how do I get this?
Yeah.
And it's all numbered. I mean, look at this, guys. This is a numbered bottle. We're talking about, I had to pull these guys. The only reason I got it is because I've had it before, and we love the juice. Both Eric and I did, and we're setting up to actually do the secondary review on this.
Yeah.
You tell me, how does somebody get this exclusive bottle?
Yeah. There's probably a short answer and a long answer, but I'm going to go with the long one.
Yeah, because this is your show, so you tell us. Go with the long, go the long plan, because I want to hear it.
I mean, this is sort of a project where everything lined up just amazingly. Like, I mean, the timing in Alex's life, he's too humble to tell you the story, but he got hit with COVID really bad, and
I watched it. I wasn't sure I wanted to bring that up because I know I have had friends who have had it, and it was touch and go for Alex there for a while.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Yeah. We were preparing for the worst. It was that down to the moment.
Wow.
Anyway, he awoke on Christmas morning, and now we all call him Baby Jesus. but he awoke from his coma on Christmas morning,
Oh my
and
God.
it was clear he had a long recovery ahead of him, and so we needed to simplify his life, but give him something that he could focus on. And as I said, I'm in technology, so it wasn't obvious how I could help him, but I was curious to explore it. And so that's when Alex and I sat down and started thinking about how do we simplify his life around one single project, do it really, really well, but something he's going to be passionate about, because you're going to need to, fight back. He was a fraction of his weight today.
Oh, yeah.
He was really emaciated from the whole ordeal. So it was just out of a conversation, we decided, he was describing to me the problem in the industry. And I was thinking of it kind of like you laid it out just now, Mike. It's a bit of a case study. Like, we've got this unique situation. We don't have infinite growth. We actually have limited growth. And that's actually what we want to raise awareness to, is that not everything needs to be mass produced. Like the best things in life, legends aren't mass produced.
No, of course not. Legends, they come. We're lucky if we live to see a legend. There's Michael Jackson, there's Elvis. You're talking about Mexican movie classics, and a lot of those guys burned out before they turned 40. Buddy Holly, the day the music died. These. So I know what you mean by legends.
And we also mean, Mike, is by people we all have in our lives. Like, not everyone can be one, but we all know them. You know it when you see it. You know authenticity when you see it. And most of the time, legends come out of hard times, right? We say legends are born in bear markets, right? And that's because it takes that grit. That is the agave plant as well. It comes out of harsh condition, So we started thinking about all these, the way it lines up. And out of that sort of emerged this idea that we actually should not try to mass produce. Our goal should not to be, we don't want to be on every store shelf. We want to be in the hands of the people that really appreciate the fact that this product cuts no corners, that it is 100% pure. We're not putting unnecessary sugars or flavorings into it. And that smooth flavor, that, Mike, when you have another sip of this, you'll be reminded of just how pure it is, and how smooth it is. But so we also have to go to market in a really intelligent way here, because unless the farmer is represented in the go to market, well, then they're going to be pressured to sell out at 3 years or 5 years, meaning cut the plant early. We know we want that plant to get to the full ripe ages of 7 to 10 years. So
we also, those of us who have been involved in the tequila industry and have seen it, gluts and shortages, it happens every 10 years. And now it's happening even in a shorter amount of time because of the amount of tequila being overproduced and mass produced. And so I understand, the plant itself can't handle that kind of, you and I, we all kind of had a little meeting prior to our show here. And we all kind of sat and I said the same thing. I said, this plant cannot sustain that kind of growth. Those headlines that say currently, it's going to overtake vodka in a couple of years. In a couple of years, folks, and you know what? That's not good. That can't happen.
It's not a potato, Mike.
It's not grapes. It's not bamboo.
Right.
It's not even cork. You know what I mean? It's and we know, those of us who've kind of little bit more old school, old dogs, that we've had some classic tequilas and we're going, those were the days when you could grow it 7 to 8, 9, 10 years, really gamey and really tasty. Those days are gone, and the sad part for me, I'm not much of a collector, but when I see bottles, old classic bottles that collectors pull out, that because they bought cases of this stuff, it's like, when you're young, you don't think that this whole industry is going to change and this tequila will always be the same, right? And it's not, some tequilas like Cazadores, the classic Cazadores, isn't even a shadow of what it is now, and so when you have a classic bottle of Cazadores that was still owned by the original family, that stuff is gold. And it was at the time dirt cheap, so everything has increased. And so I love the idea behind making it an instant classic, because now you hope that it's going to survive in the way you guys want it.
Yeah. And I love that you came to that, like, instant classic. The phrase that we use is a modern classic, because almost to, like, in order to sustain the classic element, we've got to embrace modern ways, because we've got to defend here the creator. The creator is the agave plant, the farmer.
Right.
He's going to sell his bulbs to market early if that's his only option. We've got to give him a more lucrative option to grow for the full term. And so the way we do that is we've made him a partner in the project, essentially, where so you've heard the term NFT, Mike?
Yeah. There's I know we discussed a couple of things about what the initials stand for. I know somebody gave me the term "not effing there." So I thought it was like artwork that was only digital, correct? Something
well, what it is, and this is where a lot of the audience goes, "Oh God, crypto." No, but the thing about it is just it's a membership. It's a way to show support. You can buy an NFT to show support of a project. It essentially pulls liquidity forward so you can afford to do cool things in the development of a project. So, for example, we're going to market via NFTs. And what that means is, in order to buy the bottle online anyway, you have to go buy the NFT first.
See that, folks? That's how you get these. But explain how how
we support.
How you support it, because I the NFT, the early adopters know what it means, but then there's people who are going to be apprehensive, about what this is. Is it a real bottle? Is it real juice? That kind of thing.
So remember, we're a mezcal. So NFT to us stands for not fucking tequila.
Right. There you go.
Sorry.
I'll let you say it. Now I can say it's not fucking there.
So we're not selling art with our NFTs. We're selling a membership. We're selling access.
Well, but wait a second. This is liquid art. Remember?
That's right. Okay. That's exactly right. So 15% of the NFT goes back to support the art, meaning that allows us to allocate more land on at the farm for full growth projects, which is ours. Right. And so we want this industry, and Mike, you probably have a great read on the language, but we need language to connect and communicate with this burgeoning marketplace of agave, both mezcal and tequila. Right. And so, what are going to be those words that make people realize that it's not a potato, that, full term agave needs to start becoming like a thing. Right.
I like that term, though, full term, because it's almost like a pregnancy, right? And you want the pregnancy to go to full term. That means it's a healthy kid, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I get it. I totally understand that. In fact, I don't know why it's not been more adopted, because what we hear in the tequila industry is the total opposite. That you're lucky if a plant can grow 5 years before somebody sells out.
Yeah.
And because of the modern technology now, the diffuser, it's not uncommon to start harvesting at 4 years old, and that plant hasn't been in the ground long enough to acquire the characteristics that a classic mezcal or tequila acquires by the longer term, the longer term agave, right? I get it. I totally understand.
So NFT also means now full term. And
I love it.
But anyhow, too much wordplay. But I think I think I made up full term like a minute ago. So, but I just realized that it's now full term. Yeah,
this is big mastermind group. Okay,
yeah, you're all watching. It's all happening. I've had just the right amount of agave to let this all flow.
Yeah.
So but that is the point. And so by embracing something modern, we can secure something classic, and it keeps everybody on the same team, incentives aligned. And what it also does is allow us to pass membership value back to our members as well. So, for example, people that buy the NFT, they get a full membership package. They get a magazine that talks to the project. They get shirts. They get little Yeti sipping La Leyenda.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we want to create this like as a real club. There's 3 NFTs that are coming out. One is the Blanco, One is the
Okay.
Reposado. Both of those give you access to buy the bottles online through an online retailer. Of course, we're not
Okay.
selling alcohol with NFTs, right? We're selling a membership.
Right.
And then but the Añejo membership is pretty sweet. It's a little bit more expensive, but it gives you access to private clubs. So we're building out a network of private clubs that recognize our NFT as a membership pass to their exclusive clubs.
And what happens in the club? How, is that's like remember the old days of the Playboy Club? You would get the key, right? And you get to all the Chicago and Beverly Hills and all that. So what is the Añejo plan? I want to hear that.
Yeah. So we call it the Legends Club. And the plan is right now there's 3 clubs in LA that will accept it as a pass to get in. Okay. One is this really cool high-end biker bar. And I know it's crazy, but they have a world-class tattoo parlor in there. The guys from Miami Ink.
Okay.
They have a barber shop in there, a full bar, a linen full-scale restaurant. They have a speakeasy behind the wall. It's so cool. Yeah. Wow. It's called the Bike Shed Moto. So that's going to be one. The other is a speakeasy in Santa Monica. And the other is yet to be announced, but it's going to be in a diverse part of LA. We're trying to create little triangles, right? So no matter where you are in the town, you've got a place to go that sells La Leyenda.
Wow. And this is just something the both of you just kind of, created, or had there been a model before that you're looking at and trying to improve on?
We thought we were the first. We thought we had like this idea, and we started looking around, but there's some other great projects out there that are NFT based alcohols. And I'm sure your listening audience has them on the tip of their tongue. But yeah, what we found is that this is such, to be honest, like Agave is a really open group of people, passionate and eager to collaborate. Yeah. But you put in the Web3 community, the like NFT and crypto makes it even more so. So yeah, we've been collaborating with these other projects, sharing different ways to go to market, different people or resources that they've used to be successful. So yeah, there's maybe on another episode we could pull together a list of these projects and maybe invite some of them together to talk about NFT based projects and what makes them win or fail. But I think there needs to be more of it. We don't need to be the only people doing it. We hope other brands learn from how to partner with the farmer to maintain their the classic the vintage of their
classic
their practice.
Term.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that go ahead, Alex.
No, I was going to add to give back to the real creators of the juice.
I mean, ultimately you want your factory to sustain. I mean, you don't know where this is going to go. You don't know how deep the support will be for La Leyenda in that business model. And what happens? See, that's the scary part about the industry where it's at now. You have a celebrity that gets behind something and the rock takes off, right? Yeah. You get another celebrity. I mean, just recently, the last one that I can think of is Kevin Hart. All the Rock's friends. You notice all the friends the Rock has? Yeah. They all have their tequila. The only guy that I respect the way he went into it was Marky Mark, because he picked something that already had a couple of golfers involved with it, and he wasn't. Kevin Hart, on the other hand, to me, that's a money grab, because when you go with Jose Cuervo to make your juice, it's all just a money grab, and so, but you don't know. Again, you don't know how deep the demand will be for this. So obviously, you want the factory that's the exclusive factory that makes this for you. Yeah, you want them to also be sustainable.
That's right.
And if they have to build out for the demand, because everybody wants to be a member of the club, right? Yeah. You got to plan for that also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, look at supply chain. Everybody's being impacted by supply chains. And it's because the old model of more is more, and squeeze the creator down, squeeze the manufacturer down, make more money at the top. They end up hurting themselves in the end. You have to create sustainability in your supply chain. The way you do that is passing value back to the creator. and encouraging them, you know, to better understand what their market appreciates, right? So, you know, the relationship with the farmer is quite interesting, because we're bringing back market information to him to say, this is what's resonating right now. This is what people want. They want authenticity. They want small brand. They want craft. They want to know it's organic and local, and people are getting taken care of. What, you know, when you think about spending a lot of money to go have a good time, wouldn't you love to know that you're not hurting anybody along the way, or killing a century-old, you know, or a 4th-century-old tradition?
Yeah, but you know that's the danger of overproducing in these alarming. To me, they're alarming headlines. I mean, it's clickbait. You know, I'm a copywriter. I know what that. You know, I know if it says tequila will overtake whiskey, you know, in a couple of years it's going to overtake vodka, and you know, company. I mean, nonprofits like the Still Spirits Council of the United States will sit on that and go, yeah, you know, we want to see that. No, you don't. You know, but the interesting part is that the consumer, the average consumer, isn't aware that the more these celebrity tequilas that you drink, the less anybody else, you know, the more something gets hurt. They're not aware of the, you know, I've gotten in trouble years ago when I wrote about wastewater in tequila. You know, right now the thing is, it takes 10 liters of water to make 1 liter of tequila. When you make that 1 liter of tequila, you also produce 10 liters of wastewater. Okay. And I got in trouble. I got yelled at and defriended when I wrote my book on that 10 years ago. So, and all I was trying to do is educate the public that there's a seedy underbelly of this business that not everybody is aware of, and maybe not everybody wants to hear about. But like you said, what if we told you that the more of that you drink, the more you're hurting the plant, the more you're hurting the grower's not making any money. What would you do then? How do you feel about that? You know, and we don't ask that to the consumer. We don't ask the consumer. The only thing we ask them to, how do you taste? It tastes smooth. You know, that's it. There's no education on the back end. Nobody takes into consideration the grower, the botanist. You know, the scientists have been completely X'd out of this whole thing. You know, and that's not what you guys are doing. That's what I love about. That's kind of why I love this idea, this concept, because had I known back then in my 30s and younger, when I drank, you know, a classic El Tesoro de Don Felipe, that you know, that it was going to always be around, or if that classic had been produced now, I would invest in one of these, because you know, knowing what I know now, that classic will probably, you know, not be around, and this is a way to preserve that legend. So I like how it's, you know, I like this concept that's coming full circle, because 1, you're not hurting anybody. 2, you're supporting the grower, which nobody even talks about. I mean, there's a lot of greenwashing going on, you know, where we're supporting the community. We're taking our waste and we're making Adobe bricks, and we're going to build a library in Jalisco. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? How many cultures still live in Adobe? I know of one. When I lived in New Mexico, I visited Taos. Taos, New Mexico is the longest continuously lived in pueblo, and it has to continuously be rebuilt because of the, you know, Adobe bricks. But you know, it's 900 years old. There are no 900-year-old buildings, you know, unless you're talking about a cathedral somewhere in Jalisco. So, you know, there's a lot of like I say, greenwashing that's going on, and that's not what you guys are doing. You guys are just you guys are completely upfront. I mean, nothing's been hidden. I mean, you know,
well, what's cool about the technology, the underlying technology, just to touch on it, is in NFT is technically it's called a smart contract, and it's on what's called a blockchain. And when a transaction is made, the smart contract automatically follows the rules of the contract. So if somebody buys an NFT, automatically in the same instance, 15% goes into the shared wallet, the shared cryptocurrency wallet of the farmer. So with double signature on there. You know, one of the other challenges that we had to overcome in giving back is this idea of, you know, you can make somebody a target down there if they know they're sitting on cash. So what this allows us to do is have a fund that the farmer can submit projects to. Need a new tractor? Pay it out of the fund. And that way, and it requires a double signature. Funds can't get released without it. And there's no bank involved. So nobody's taking a commission or a cut. So this technology is really foundationally changing the relationship between a consumer and the creator.
So, you know, I know you're explaining it to me, and not that I'm well versed in it, because I'm not. How it must really be a challenge, Alex, to try to explain how this whole concept works to the grower, right? I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
so
I mean,
how do you broach that challenge?
well, for me, this is all new as well. I'm not that into it. I'm just learning as I go. And Tom he has been teaching me a lot. It is not easy to explain just yet for me, but I have talked to his name is Nicolas, and I think we both get it, and we're just waiting to see the results and as in how it will actually work, because we're starting right now.
Yeah. So how will this work, and when's the rollout? When have you guys got an ETA on the NFT?
Yeah, you do. For sure. We have got on October 15th, we're what they call dropping the
Yes.
1,500 NFTs. About half of those will be pre-listed, or they call them allow lists, to some other projects that are out there. Maybe we can set up an allow list for your listeners as well. What that means is they can show their interest simply by signing up on a website and reserving a space. It means they won't be throwing elbows the day that the NFT drops. They also get it at a discounted rate. So that could be an exciting thing to include to your audience. But yeah, we understand that not everyone wants to understand crypto in order to interact in this community. So you'll be able to just sign up with a regular credit card, purchase an NFT. We'll hold the NFT in a virtual wallet that you can come later if you get hip to crypto. You can come back and download for your own purposes. But yeah, we can recognize the membership without having the complexity of the technology get in the way.
Yeah, it does take a little getting used to.
Yeah.
You know, when you look into the virtual wallet, and you know, and that the farmer has to have his own crypto account and things like that. But this is exciting though, because you know, even if you're, you know, if the project shows success and adoption, then you know, on the end of it, the farmer will start to see this and just go, wow, this is really working. Cool, right? And you know, I can buy that tractor, or I can get, you know, the extra horse, or whatever, you know, whatever he needs, or another pressure cooker, or whatever it is, another stainless steel tank.
But not only the farmer, also the school of the town, the clinic it's a very small town.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, so it's a community.
It's a community fund, right?
Okay,
exactly. And that's just it. It's just we want to create more incentives for them to go full term and allocate more of their plot and lot. And they're like the largest employer in this small town. I mean, 40 employees, they're the largest. There's a school there with 600 kids in it that go from kindergarten up to 12th grade. 600 across 12 years of school. You know, so
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of kids, but it's supporting a large area. But the town that it's in is tiny, and so you know, you think about it, everybody's a stakeholder in what goes on in this town. If this farmer continues to get squeezed by the big guys, kind of thing, the whole town suffers ultimately. So we thought to set it up that way.
And people from the town, men mostly at age 15, they're obligated to go to the States to follow the American dream.
Yeah.
With or without papers.
Yeah, see, we already know how that's all, you know, and we've been talking about you know, even in the state of Jalisco, how you know, it was hard at a certain point to find skilled jimadores, because again, you know, because the jimadores are not being supported as well. I mean, there's farmers and then there's harvesters as well. And that's a skill that you can't teach. That's that's given from father to son, or from, uncle to nephew, and things like that. And so, I know one particular brand owner who's been harping on that for so long, that there was no support to the farmer or the jimador. And it was hard to find skilled labor because they were all coming to the United States,
That's right.
And this gives the community a chance to go, you don't have to put your life in danger, pay some coyote to take you, that you may or may not make it to Texas, or wherever they take you. I mean, I don't know how, just lately we've had a lot of sad reports of people perishing in trucks in the middle of summer, stuff like that never have to happen. Right. That's a humanitarian problem. And if you can find a way, this sounds exciting. And if this is a successful way of maintaining a community and keeping people safe, and having them, earn a decent living. I even a person who doesn't know anything about NFT will look at this as a humanitarian thing. You know what? Yeah, I'll support these guys.
Yeah,
because that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, I may not get NFTs, but I'll tell you what, the support on the back end, which really isn't even the back end, it's like the whole front end.
I mean, if you think about it, what's like in any premium brand, when's the last time you were in the like Don Julio Discord channel talking to other Don Julio drinkers? Like, it doesn't happen enough. And this is a super passionate community. So not only is it a win for the source, it's a win for the member. This is not simply bleeding hearts. Hopefully we're attracting the people that go, I'd love to be part of an agave club, that's coming up with cool activities, both in the real world and in the virtual world. So, for example,
I was going to ask you, is there within any of the plans, are there going to be, these virtual meetups or IRL meetups, in real life?
Right. Oh, you're down with IRL. Very nice.
I'm down with IRL, man. I'm assuming that there's going to be. Are you going to have like a what they do, a cruise director, with all the all the events that go on? I know that La Leyenda also is a sponsor at a off-road racing.
Baja truck racing. That's right. Yeah. There's events down in Mexico that we think that people need to get exposed to more. We'll raffle off some opportunities to get down there. We sponsor a truck. Alex and his son just did the Mexican 1000. When was that? Back in April?
Yeah, April.
Yeah. And before it gets too hot.
The Mexican 500's coming up in October. We hope to take some of our first members down there in an actual chase truck. So you're actually following the
you're right on. You're down in the action.
God.
Wow.
And you can't, Mike, you can't even buy your way into an experience like that. You got to be part of the tribe.
I was going to say
it's very cool.
That's like being the grand marshal at the Daytona 500. You get to sit in that Dodge, whatever the sponsoring car is, and you get to lead. Say gentlemen, start your engines or something.
It's gasoline all day and agave all night. It's a wild ride. And then we have access to the clubs. We also host parties alongside Web3 conferences for your crypto crossovers. And then there's there'll be virtual things like Zoom calls. We'll also get into the metaverse, create the Legends Hall in the metaverse. So we've got a long-term plan to create community. We really see, the farmers in the agave business, we're in the sustained community business, and we can't sustain without him. And he's part of our community now, but we're in the community business.
That's cool. I mean, I can imagine what it would be like to have your investors, your supporters. I don't even know what to call them. I mean, I would say investors, but
fans,
your fans, to have like a virtual Zoom meeting with the actual grower.
Right.
I mean, how does that never happens unless you are one of these guys who, like myself, who visits distilleries and talks to the jimadores, and and I speak Spanish, so I can communicate.
Right.
And or the master distillers. I mean, we've done this business for 23 years, so there are people that I have in my, I have their personal cell numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but not everybody has access to that. Not everybody has been involved in the business that long. So it would be really cool to meet with the grower and have the you know the supporters, the sponsors go, hey, you know, what do you do with this, and what happens when the weather gets bad? You know, stuff that he's can easily explain, whether through a translator or whatever. I mean, that would be so cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and then
you
you
have guys like you on there, Mike, to talk about the sipping and give little snippets of your course. You know, I've got your on my desk here.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no, it'd be great to have you on there. We also want to feature just everyday legends. We want to remind people, you know, it's so interesting. You get people together and you ask somebody who's a legend in your life, man, you will get to know them if they're daring enough to ask it, they're open enough to answer that, rather. It's amazing how much you can learn about somebody. So we, you know, by bringing people that have done incredible things, that give back, that know where they came from, that tell I came from a hard time, here's what I was able to do, and here's what makes me happy to give back to that. That's that kind of culture we want to create around the brand. So sometimes we'll have people on there that just sort of might be doing something completely different than agave, but have a really cool story that needs to be shared. And so we'll rely on our community to surface those ideas.
I like that idea. That you know, the agave spirits industry, you know, the followers, the enthusiasts, the collectors, you know, it's all they're kind of a tight-knit group, you know. They, like, all collectors know each other. Those of us who have been in the business long enough, you know, we all kind of know each other. Judges who have been, I was just at the San Diego Spirits competition, and a lot of these judges have been judging this competition for the last 13 years. This is like the 13th year of this event. You know, we were new additions to that, but we've been together, you know, a lot of our senior tasters who were there, we've been together 5 years. And like I said, I think I told you off camera, a lot of us had never met it IRL in real life until that day. You know, we've known each other online like this, you know, but it would be great to, you know, shake Alex's hand and, you know, spend time with you and have a, you know, have a La Leyenda, you know, a glass of this. And you'll have these, I guess, real life meetups where you can actually, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, what else do you want to tell people about this? Now, again, the rollout, the drop will be October 15th, right? Mid October.
Yeah, and then the Añejo drops. That's a separate NFT. It's it's a lot more expensive. It gives you access to buy all three varietals online, and the access to the parties. The access to the clubs that we partner with. And you should know, Mike, I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if this drop is successful for the LA location, then we'll look to replicate that in Miami and in New York and end up building a network of La Leyenda clubs. So, you know, stay tuned for next, you know, for the next drop, but stay aware for this one. And Mike, we'd love to keep your community abreast to the progress along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely interested in seeing how this model operates, because never been done before. I mean, that's what it was with us when we started the whole thing, you know, with Tequila Aficionado. Even prior to that, the reason I got involved with Tequila Aficionado is because I started doing tequila shows in New Mexico when I was living in Albuquerque. It had never been done before. Now there are tequila shows all across the country. Yeah. You know, every little town, whether it's a big market or someplace in Georgia, you know, that has no business, that you know, it's a bourbon country, a whiskey country. But we were doing it before anybody else did. We didn't know what we were doing. We flew by the seat of our pants. It was just myself and a couple of partners. And we did it successfully for about 4 years. And then, you know, we started growing with Tequila Aficionado. And because of Lisa, we brought back the magazine. I mean, there was no, you know, print was dead. Remember when, you know, a lot of magazines went belly up, but, you know, Bon Appetit or Condé Nast, you know, stuff like that had just flipped over. And son of a gun, we now have a tequila magazine that's just for agave spirits and tequila and mezcal and everything else.
People want to engage, right? They want their tribe and they want more of their tribe. So
So I fully endorse this. I can't wait to taste it. As you can see, mine is still sealed. And knowing how exclusive it is now, I'm probably just going to reseal it after we're done and put it away. Put it in my my NFT locker or something. What else do you want people to know about this project? I can go on and ask you, are you going to let the quiotes grow and and go to seed? Are you going to, because there is that part of happening in Jalisco in the tequila industry. Is that something you do normally in Zacatecas or on this farm? All kinds of little things to that I care about. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing about the wastewater? Again, you have a small factory, so obviously the taking care of the wastewater is a little bit more sustainable than it would be at a maquiladora where they're operating 24/7 and using that kind of water. So I there's all kinds of questions that I'd
and I think all those questions continue to arise. I think is all we can do is get better at transparency, because if you go to our site right now, there's just not a lot of information. We're sort of creating intrigue by limited but when the project's live, I think that's terrific feedback and a great reminder. And I just made a note to make sure we build that into the story. The sustainability, we think about sustaining the quality of the product, but also the sustainability of the resources. I think we need to drive more transparency there. I think we can.
I think so. I mean, so far, everything that, we've had a couple of communications together and everything has been above board, folks. It's just, they sit where I live and what I've been harping on for so long, myself and other tequila brand owners, the old guys who've been making great tequila for years, they want to see stuff come back. I mean, what happens if this model works? The tequila industry is going to look at that and go, wait a minute, maybe how do we get in? Well, how do we do what these guys are doing? Because, we want to create great tequila like we used to. Make tequila great again. Remember that?
That's right, right. There's a lot of projects, a lot of supply chain challenges in ag tech. I know Procter & Gamble deploys a project around blockchain and cotton, so you can trace and track the cotton all the way back to the actual bale.
Right.
And it's all in the purpose of drawing more transparency. So, when you ask questions about where could this go, I mean, why not adopt a plant? And you get to, 3 years from now, you're going to get a bottle shipped directly from the plant that you adopted,
Well, you got barrel programs.
Exactly. Right. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Select your own barrel. I mean, that's
how
a lot of these restaurants, it's exclusive barrel to us.
Yeah.
The state of New Hampshire has their own, they're a control state. They've got their own barrel program. Your favorite restaurant's got that. Why not? What
I love about a campaign like that, especially when you align it with full term, adopting a plant makes it, personifies the plant. And it lets people know that the richness of agave, unlike a whiskey, is aged in the ground, not in the barrel. And we can't treat it like a whiskey or a potato that turns into vodka. And we can't just super hyper scale it and still call it craft. Come on, Tito's craft. I mean, that thing's on every damn shelf everywhere.
Well, that's why they got sued in California for that. Don't even get me started on Tito's, man. Jeez. Tito's, what a clown. I'm sorry. Just,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Anyway, that's all right. But,
I mean, it can go a lot of different directions, but I think as long as Alex and I are, have this vision of let's make sustainably high quality superior product, that could spawn into other products that are on that same, have that same overmass manufacturing issue that could become a platform. A lot of different ways we could go. But if you ask me, what do we want to leave the audience with? Come and be an activist with us. If you're a marketer, come and join the project. We can incentivize you through NFTs. You can be up, you can share in the growth of the project. If you're just a drinker, a love it, a collector, and you want to reach out to us and get whitelisted for the drop, be vocal. But I think any level of participation is being an activist in the issues that we were talking about here today.
I love that, being an activist. We opened up a whole bunch of initials and words and phrases. They'll eventually be buzzwords. We use them in copy, but I love that. Full term. Now full term. I love that.
Yeah.
Because, it just, to me, it's like a child. I love, you want your baby to go full term. That makes it a
Yeah.
healthy baby. It's the same thing with the plant. I mean, I have talked to several agave growers who, they don't want to sell their babies. These are babies that they take care of. The real agaveros,
Yeah.
they love their plants. In fact, I know agaveros who will age their tequilas so lightly because they know that what they want to present is the quality of their plant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because they're agave growers first. And so I just, the whole idea of going full term, GFT, I love that. I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but before we wrap up, is there anything that you guys want to tell the audience out there? Because I have a feeling that this particular interview is going to really open up a lot of can of worms. It's going to really interest a lot of people who are maybe not, not tequila drinkers. Or maybe they're tequila drinkers and they're into crypto or something. So what do you want to say to those people? I love what you just said about the activists, but then again, that's another, being an activist is another category too. The average activist might not be a tequila drinker, but he understands, or she understands, full term, right? So what do you want to tell these people? What do you want to say, to them?
Alejandro, come on, have the last word here.
Just to begin with, we are saying a lot of tequila, and to be honest, it's a mezcal.
Right.
So it was hitting me inside.
No, well, and I think I made a distinction at the very beginning that this is a mezcal, but the problem is, everybody looks at the tequila industry as an example.
Absolutely.
And they've made so many mistakes. And my hope was that the mezcal industry sees that and goes, we don't want to go that route, and then where you're coming from, what you're doing in the state of Zacatecas, what is allowed to be produced there. I mean, okay, I know that there are rumors where, certain types of agave are being stolen by the tequila industry. And then they go to other states and buy blue agave there, but they just don't tell anyone, and they're outside the denomination of origin. We know all about that stuff, okay? But you guys are completely, upfront, and you're going, it's a mezcal. It's made a certain way, but what really makes it completely different is that it's a full term. And I know from having had some really great old school tequilas and mezcals, if it goes full term, the character and the flavor just sells itself. Once you get it past the lips, you're gonna go, I fully endorse this, so I can't wait to pop mine open, because I haven't done it yet. But I will. And as soon as I do, you guys will know.
And you guys can go to our site. It's laleyenda.io. That is .io. And you'll notice that on that site there's a link to our Discord channel. That's our community.
Okay.
Alex is on there several times a day. We respond to everybody. We have some channels in there about how it's made, how agave is made in general, but also just about our facility, right? The farmer, the distillery, and the bottler. So we have open conversations there. We encourage you at a minimum, come back there, say hello to Alex, and I'm in there at least once a day as well. So we'd love to see you there.
That's cool. I had
and
no
it's
idea.
a great opportunity to talk to the real founders, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, and sometimes you can't even do that. You know what I mean? You're drinking a celebrity agave spirit because why? Because the celebrity drinks it. Well, when do you ever have access to the actual person? And I think I love it. I love the accessibility that they have to you guys. The transparency, the idea, this concept. It's exciting, folks. This is exciting. This if and when it works, how cool would that be?
I mean, it's an experiment, right? Kind of like you were saying about your media channel. It was an experiment, and that's how they start. And we need others to get around us. And Alex and I, we've got blind spots, that we don't see about the industry because we're kind of new to it. So, getting more seasoned people around the project to ensure success of the project, because it could be the first domino, right? And so come help us make it successful. At a minimum, join the Discord, say hello there. Reach out if you want to set up a call, think about how we can work together. We're an incredibly flat organization.
It's just them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that's cool though. I mean, this is, again, we're folks, what you're watching is Open Bar, and this is probably the most ground level open bar I've ever interviewed, because I've been fortunate enough to talk to marketers and people involved in with their brands, and they come from other industries and that kind of thing. But this is, to my recollection, this is the first time that I've ever spoken to something that's completely, startup. I mean, literally startup. It drops October 15th. I'm sure that, we'll have we'll see a lot of that coming to fruition, whether on social media channels, on your Discord, obviously the magazine, and anywhere else. I'm totally down with this, because something's got to change. Something has to, you got to pull the reins. I'm afraid to see where the industry, and again, Alex, with all due respect, it's the tequila industry, because the thing is too, what I'm afraid of is if the tequila industry implodes, it drags other people under as well. You know what I mean? Where they say that all, a wave, elevates all boats, but the reverse is also true. You have a void, and it drags everybody else, and you can't have that. You want to have you sail your own boat. So we were talking on camera. Tom, he spent the whole weekend sailing. You know what it's like to sail in choppy waters versus sailing at nice even an even keel. So you want the even keel, because the choppy waters, the hurricane, the eye of the storm will kill you, man. I'm telling you, and I don't want to see that. I don't. So if this is a beginning, like you said, the beginning of the domino, I'm all for it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, that's it, folks. We're already down to an hour. I'm not going to keep you much longer, but again, folks, you have been watching and listening to a very special edition of Open Bar. I'm Mike Morales in Southern California. You've been listening to Tom O'Malley, and Alex Sanchez. These two gentlemen are the founders and hopefully the sustainers of the La Leyenda, Los Clásicos Nunca Mueren. I hope that's right. I am pronouncing that correctly. I never used the whole title. By the way, it translates to the Legends Never Die. Okay. And I love the concept. I hope more people watch this show, because it was a really kind of a crash course in what you're trying to do and get across. And I love it. It makes sense to me.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you for being here with me. Again, what's the website address one more time?
It's laleyenda.io. So LALEYENDA.io.
There you go, folks. Be in on the ground floor, because you could be part of a really good movement.
Thanks, Mike.
That's another one. Movement.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Yeah.
No, thank you guys for allowing me to share this with our audience.
Yeah.
And hopefully getting the word out.
Yeah.
About this. And as soon, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we taste this, Eric Zandona and I, you guys will know, because
awesome.
I can't. Double gold medal in San Francisco. So how bad can it be? Right?
How bad can it be? Right.
And we loved it at 38 ABV. So I know that, that every degree of alcohol percentage by volume makes a difference in the flavor profile. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this. I know that Eric still has probably some of the original bottles, so he might even do a side-by-side. I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Cool.
My bottle is gone, because I enjoyed it, because that's who I am. Anyway, folks, you've been watching and listening to a special edition of Open Bar. Thank you again to the guys from La Leyenda, Tom and Alex. Thank you for being here with me. Folks, keep watching We're going to try and keep everybody abreast of all the news, and I'd love to revisit this when it grows and continues to grow. So continue good fortune to both of you. Thank you again for being with me. And folks, whatever you guys do, tomar sabiamente, sip wisely.